and you get one right now from one of our staff members, please keep it. You can have that for free. See, we're just giving away free stuff all morning this morning. We'll see how many free things I can give away today. So please grab one of those, John 13, say I got it when you got it, and we will get going here. All right. So, being misjudged. I want to start there. Have you ever been misjudged? At school, at home, among your siblings, among your friends? Have you ever been misjudged? Like someone thought something about you that was not true. That was not true. It's not fun, right? And you find out, you're like, wait, what? What? They think that about me? It's not cool, right? Everybody's like murmuring right now because you know it's true. Now, have you ever been misjudged and then that person decided to spread the misjudgment? Right? So it wasn't like they just kept it to themselves, like, I think this about you, and it wasn't true. But then they're like, oh my God, can you believe that? You ever been there? You ever been there where like, now you hear about this, okay, somebody misjudged me, they spread it. And now you hear this untruth, and you walk around with it in your head. And so now when you walk through school or when you walk through your house or the mall or whatever, if you see people, if you see friends, people that know you or that see you regularly, you're wondering, right, if they're thinking those things. You start actually, your brain starts filling in the gaps. And you're like, oh, man, they're looking at me. I wonder if they heard the untruth, And so all of a sudden you feel like you almost have to like undo that. With one person is something, but when it spreads, you have to be like, man, how do I fix this? How do I go tell that person who's looking at me weird right now that what so-and-so said is not true? How do I tell this group that what so-and-so said isn't true? Like you start trying to just figure out how to get after and protect yourself and save yourself from this untruth that is spreading. Someone might think that like you're a partier because of one weird story. Or maybe people think that you sleep around because, again, another weird random story. Or you're a cheater, or you're a liar, or you're a loser, or you're only a Christian on Sunday. These are heavy things. You know what I mean? These things can like ruin or kill a reputation. And if we allow it to, what it can do, it can seep into our head and it could cause us to like run in fear. Like you're like, I'm out. I don't want to be a part of this. I need to run away and get away from this. Or even worse, you can start believing these lies. They seep into your head. And so what you do is you just start playing the character. You just start playing into what these things that are being said about you are. Believe it or not, you and I and many people are being labeled every single day. We're being labeled all the time by people all around us, all around you, by something you say, something you do, or someone you're around. People are people, man. And we make judgments on people. Sometimes that's like second nature. And if we don't like watch ourselves and we're not careful and mindful of our minds, our minds wander in that way. We hear something, we see something, and we judge. Boom. That person must be this way. That person must be about this. And so we just make our judgments in our mind. It's who we are. We're visual people. We have our own agendas. We have our own ideas. And so we're making judgments like this all the time, super fast. And it's no different from those around us toward us. Now, it's the new year. Hopefully you guys had a good one. Did anybody fire off fireworks? Anyone? Oh, sweet. Okay, we got a few illegal people up in here. Okay. Have you guys made New Year's resolutions? It's the thing, right? It's the fad. I got to make a New Year's resolution. Would anybody like to share a New Year's resolution this morning? I made this New Year's resolution. Oh, sweet. To go on a hike every weekend. Man, that's a lot of hikes. That's awesome. Sweet. You should keep track to see how far you go at the end of the year. That'd be awesome. I hiked these many. That's sweet. Great. What else? Come on. For me, I made a resolution. I want to read at least 2 books a month, if I can. If I can. I'm not saying that for sure. 1 to 2 books a month. See how that went down real fast? You guys went, whoa, 1.5. No, just kidding, right? Because I'm the type of, and finish them, because I'm the type of guy who will start like 6 books, and I just don't finish them because I get bored. And I'm like, all right, fine, then go to the next one. But to actually finish them to cover. So that's kind of one of mine. But how about you? Anything else? Like, come on. Any resolution that you're like, man, I want to do this. No? Yeah.
We don't exactly make resolutions, we make goals.
Yeah.
Every year, so we have like a bunch of listed goals that we want to actually do and
Awesome.
make it our goal to do them.
Sweet. Which ones?
My dad wants me and my mom to go to the gym
Sweet.
because we don't have gym memberships and everything. So
Okay. Probably a lot of us can jump into that one, right? I want to work out more. I want to eat better, right? You're like, no, I hate that one. I pretend for a week and then, right? I would venture to say this, okay? A lot of you are not saying your resolutions because a lot of them are very personal. They're for you, right? So, see, I just think that most New Year's resolutions are about reinventing ourselves or bettering ourselves, right? Do better at school, lose weight, eat better, care for my family more, use my phone less, right? You make some of these things, but if you say them out loud, like in a place like this, what are people going to think? The opposite. Wait, you want to lose weight? So you think you're fat. Wait, you want to stop using your phone, you start using your phone less? Well, then that means you're like overly obsessed with your phone. You see what I'm saying? So it's these personal things. But can you imagine, and these aren't bad things, these are great things, right? Resolutions are great. Now, can you imagine if we made resolutions for others? This new year, I want to make a New Year's resolution for you, Johnny, or you, Becky, or whoever it is. I'm going to make a resolution for you that you need to lose weight. That's not going to go over well, right? Or I'm going to make a resolution for you to stop being so annoying or judgmental. Some of you are like hitting each other right now. It's like, I made a resolution for you to stop being so annoying. So I'm trying here, right? Or for you to stop gossiping. Man. Or for you to be a better friend. Like all these things, right? It doesn't work that way. That would be weird. Or you might get punched. I mean, one of those things. Resolutions are about self-reflection, okay? Where am I? Okay? Where am I and where do I want to be? That's what they're about. In fact, the very definition of a resolution is a firm decision to do something or not to do something. A firm decision to do something or not to do something. So we need to do it for ourselves. This is your decision. You can't do it for someone else. You can't make a resolution for someone else. Somebody can't make you complete a resolution. It's got to be yours. You got to own it. What I want to talk about this morning is that Jesus calls us to a resolution. Not just in the new year, not just for the first month of 2017, but every single day he calls us to a resolution. So in John 13, as we're going to be camping out, we're going to jump a few verses ahead, but before we get to, we're going to start in verse 34. But before we read that and we jump into that, I want to tell you a little bit about what's going on in this part of the story right now. So it's the Last Supper. Jesus is hours away from being crucified, okay? He's hanging out with his boys, his friends. They're eating together. They're having that Last Supper together. And they're just talking and they're connecting. And he's talking to them and he's giving them all kinds of wisdom and all kinds of things. Now, if you've ever lost a friend or if a friend ever was going to go away for like a very long time, those last moments, those last words are usually really important, right? You want to say something to leave them with, or they want to say something to you to leave you with that will like stick. It's like You're choosing your last words. Like my best friend passed away a few years back, and I watched him on his deathbed. And I will never forget the last words he said to me because he chose them carefully. And they're in my head forever. They're very important to me. So what Jesus is saying to these guys right now, they don't know it, but he knows it, is the last words that they're going to hear before he dies. So what he does and what he says is very important. So here's a few things that go down right before this verse that we're going to read. In chapter 13 alone, he does this one thing that we know of as the washing of the feet, okay? If you ever go to Hume, hopefully you get to experience that with us sometime. You've seen the damage that the washing of the feet can do to someone's heart and someone's face because of the tears that come out of them. It's just a humbling experience. Jesus, the God of the universe, decides, I'm going to show my friends how much I love them and how much I'm going to push them to serve each other, that I'm going to get on my knees and I'm going to wash their nasty, disgusting feet. Now, you and I have super sweet kicks these days, right? And we have socks, and it's super nice. They didn't have that stuff back then, okay? You had your somewhat okay sandals, but these guys were walking as a part of their job. Everything they did was walk. Dirt, 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 dirt. You spend 1 week at camp and you wear sandals, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to touch your feet. It's gross. It's nasty. And these are grown men. And for some reason, grown men have worse, ugly, dirty feet than grown women do. It's just the way it is. I don't know. God formed it that way. But here's Jesus, God of the universe, who created those toes, who created those feet, and he gets down and he washes their feet to show them how much he loves them, to show them that he will serve them at all costs, to the point of getting on his knees, to getting below them and washing their feet. Pretty crazy. The next event that happens, Jesus starts knowing, because he's Jesus, that Judas is going to betray him. So he calls him out in front of all the guys, but he does it in such a subtle way that the rest of the disciples don't even fully catch it. But he basically tells Judas, you know, he knows you're gonna betray me, and he tells him, hey, just go and do it quickly. And so Judas gets up and he leaves. That's an intense moment, okay? But this is what happens in chapter 13. Now, right after that, a new command is given. So it says that as soon as Judas leaves, a new commandment is given. And that's what we're going to talk about here in just a minute. But let's pause that for a second, the new commandment. We'll come back to that. The very final thing that happens in chapter 3, okay? Peter was known to be like the best friend of Jesus, okay? And Peter was good at putting his foot in his mouth. You know people like that, you know? They just talk out of turn, or they talk too fast. You know, it's just like, no, just settle down. This was this kind of guy, all right? So Jesus just did all these things. He gives this new commandment. He gives them a new calling, which we're going to talk about here in a second. And then Peter's like, yeah, man, I'm all about that, Jesus. I will love you to the end. I will die for you. He's talking, he does all these things for, again, last moments, here together. He's telling them he's going to go. And he's like, I will do whatever it takes for you. And you know what Jesus says to him? He's like, yeah, right, dude. You're going to betray me 3 times. You're going to turn your back on me 3 times before the new day. Before the new day, you're going to turn your back on me 3 times. And can you imagine? Peter must have felt like, wait, what? I just told you I'd die for you, bro. And now you're telling me that I'm not even capable of following you through the end of the night? You kidding me? Crazy. I want you to know those things that are going on because we're going to come back to them. But this is what happens in chapter 13. All right. So let's start. John 13:34. John 13:34. Here's what happens. Here's what Jesus gives them. He gives them a new command. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another. Now let's stop for a second. Because some of you are like maybe a little confused right now. If you know your Bible, you've even heard stories of Jesus in the past. Like that whole central message is for them to love one another, right? Love your neighbor as yourself and love the Lord your God. This idea of loving each other is not very new. So why is Jesus here saying, a new commandment I give to you? Why is he saying that? Because loving each other is not a new thing. And you would be right if that's what you're thinking. But here's what's revolutionary. Here's what he's saying. That you love one another just as I have loved you. You know what's new here? Jesus is calling them to a new type of love. He's calling them to a love that he has shown. He's saying, love each other the way I love you, the way I have loved you. That's new. That's revolutionary. That's God's love that he presented and he showed to them. And he does it even just in these moments. The first is this. If you're taking notes, what kind of love? What kind of love is Jesus talking about? What does it look like? What does it mean? What is he saying? To love one another the way I have loved you. What does that mean? The first one I would say is this servant/humble love. This servant love, this serving love, this humble love. That the God of the universe would get on his knees and wash his disciples' feet. I love you so much, I'm going to serve you right now. And I'm going to wash your feet. I'm going to show you what that means. I'm going to show you what that looks like. For some of us, man, it's hard just to serve our brother or our sister breakfast. Right? You're like, wait, what? Serve you cereal? No, get it yourself. Right? It's hard for us to look at someone and say, hey, man, I'll do this for you. It's just not necessarily the culture we live in. The culture we live in says, get yours. And that's it. You don't have to get below anybody. In fact, step on people to get bigger, to get above, or to get ahead, right? That's the type of serving. That's the type of humility that we see all around us. And Jesus saying, nuh-uh, the opposite, that you would get on your knees and you would serve each other. This is the type of love that I'm talking about. The next love is this, is forgiving love. I don't know about you, but I've been backstabbed in the past by a friend or a family member, or someone who's talked smack about me, someone who's spread something about me. It's happened. And I got to tell you, when I find out, oh man, you just want to take matters into your own hands, right? You're like, if you were in front of me right now, we'd be having a serious conversation, right? Forgiveness is not easy, right? You know this. It's not easy. It's difficult. It's a hard road sometimes. Here, Jesus is sitting among his friends, people he has walked with and connected with for 3 years. And he knows that he knows one of them is about to betray him. One of them is about to sell him out. Literally, he's getting money to turn him in. He knows this. And he looks at his face and he says, go, do it. Do it quickly. Just go. He could have turned all the disciples on him. He could have turned on him and taken him out right there and then. And instead, he chooses the higher road. Go. Do what you got to do, man. For some of us, like I said, just to forgive somebody for looking at us weird is hard. Just for forgiving a friend who said something that they shouldn't have said, it's difficult for us. What is it about our culture that we're so quickly to get rid of people? Just X you out. I defriended you. You're out. You're out of my life. We don't need to know each other anymore. And yet, and not only that, we do it among each other as believers all the time. I've X'd you. You're gone. We were friends, but you said something or you did something or you want to date that one guy that I dated. And now the World War III, right? It's crazy. We just can't forgive. I've literally sat in front of people that stare at each other, look at each other, and they cannot get past their selfishness. They cannot get past the betrayal. For the sake of the gospel, for the sake of the truth, for the sake of the family of God. Because their selfishness and pride is so hurt. They're so hurt. Yet here you have Jesus, a forgiving love. Hey, here you go. And you see it later on at the cross. A forgiving love. You and I can be very quick to say, here, yeah, Jesus, take my hand. Thank you. Forgive me for what I've done. Forgive me for what I did. Forgive me for what I'm doing. But then it's like, hey, now go show it to everybody else. Go show it to those around you. Wait. I'm not Jesus. I'm not God. I can't do that. I still got to, hold everybody accountable for what they've done to me. That's a slippery, bitter road. The next one. Faithful love. Faithful love. Peter is like, dude, I'd die for you. Jesus is like, no, dude, I will die for you. Let me show you. In fact, you're going to deny me 3 times before the end of the night. Wait, what? Faithful love that Jesus brings to the scene. Because he does stay true and he does stay faithful. If not, we would be a mess. We would be in serious trouble. You know how I know? Because he went through it all to the cross and beyond. He stayed faithful, and he's still there for us now, pursuing us, showing us, leading us. Faithful love. And then sacrificial love. I talked about this a little bit already. The cross. He sacrificed himself for you and for me. These are the types of love. This is the love that Jesus is talking about. That's why he is able to say, hey, a new commandment I give to you, to love one another the way I have shown you, the way I have loved you. And check this out. Oh, this is where it comes together. So as you love one another, with this kind of love, what will happen? Look at the next verse. 35. By this love that you have for one another, all people, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another. All people. Not just someone, not just the neighbor, not just the dog, not just your friend, not just your mom. Everyone will know who you are. Everyone will know what you stand for if you do this among one another. They will know. People will not be guessing. They won't be wondering. They will know that it's unique, that it's special, that it's different. They will want to know what? How do I get that? How do I go there? It'll be so transparent, so real, so monumental, so moving that people will know who I am. People will know what I'm about. They will know that you represent me, that you have loved me, that you shine me, that you claim me, that you are living and breathing example of me. That's what they're going to know. If what we're about, one of the major reasons why we're here on earth as believers is to spread the gospel, to show people who Jesus is, to tell many of who he is and what he's done. And he's giving us the antidote right here. It's plain and simple. Plain and simple. If you love one another the way that I have loved you, people will know. They will know that you are my disciples, meaning they will know who I am. They will have access to me. They will want that. They will want to reach for that. But many times, it's the absolute opposite of what Christians are looked at. And even this group is looked at. You know how many stories come through my desk from students in this very room? So-and-so doesn't want to talk to so-and-so because they looked at them weird and now there's a fight. Okay. So-and-so doesn't want to look at so-and-so or hang out with so-and-so because that so-and-so is dating so-and-so who dated so-and-so and they were friends and now they can't be friends. I'm serious. These guys don't want to hang out with these guys because they think that they're cooler than these guys. It's just on and on and on. And we did each other wrong. And somebody said something. Somebody did something. And it's just like, I know that for you in your world of high school, it's everything. I get that. But that doesn't mean that this can't come in and interfere in all of that. And bring truth among your world. Your very world, that you can actually look at a living human being across from you and say, you're out. I want nothing to do with you. We're not friends anymore. We can't coexist anymore. What are you talking about? How does that make sense here at all? It makes zero sense right here. You read this and it doesn't translate. That's right. To me, I'm trying to help students. I try to counsel. I try to connect. And I'm looking at each other as they're looking at each other. And it's like, Do you not realize that you are not the most offended party in this sin? Do you not realize that when you cussed out so-and-so, or that when you went behind so-and-so's back, or that when you spread rumors about so-and-so, do you not realize that that sin, you're not the most offended party in that area, in that space? The most offended party always is Jesus himself, God himself, because that sin is against him first, because he called you to the opposite of that. Then we're offended. So what if we would look to him and we would say, Lord, I know that this person hurt me, but I know that he hurt you first. I know that she hurt you first. So I'm going to think through that. And I know that you are able, because of the cross, and because of your love, that you're able to forgive them. So now help me forgive them. How can you look at another human being with a beating heart, with eyes designed by Jesus himself? How can you look at them and say, you're not worth it? We can't be friends no more. We can't fix this. And yet we call ourselves believers. Yet we call ourselves Christians. Because you know what happens in those moments? People start believing these lies and they start running away, and fear sets in. And you know who wins? The enemy. Every time. He wins. Jesus doesn't get any of the glory. Jesus doesn't get any of the win there. The enemy does. Because we run and are scared. We showed them, I stood up for myself. Sometimes the best thing to do is to walk into these situations and just own your crap. Just own your stuff. Just own what you've done and start there. May they forgive you or not. May they ask for forgiveness or not. It doesn't matter. You walk in this way, because what is God calling us? By this people will know. By this people will know. See, this is the resolution that I'm talking about. This is it right here. A firm decision to do something or not to do something. Remember, a firm decision to do something or not to do something. Sometimes it comes down to that. I'm going to decide, or I'm going to decide not to do that. What will you decide this year? Will you decide, say, you know what? I'm going to choose to love people the way Jesus loves people. The way he loved. I'm going to choose a firm decision to do that. Or will you choose the opposite? It may mean forgiving your friend. It may mean confronting a friend. It may mean to stop talking behind people's back. Welcoming someone into this group. Honestly, check this out. How many people are not here this morning? How many people have not been invited to the gathering because of fear and pride and guilt, and because they did you wrong? Come on. How many people have left and didn't even say a word because they were hurt by something that someone said or someone did or some way someone treated them? We need to go get those brothers and sisters. That's crazy. That's not okay. Actually trying to love someone and not just judge them. Getting to know them. Getting to see who they are and pursuing them. Calling this group your second family, where you know you can love and be loved. And if that's not where you're at right now, then say something. Don't just walk away. I find out months later, students stop coming. Hey, why? I run into them at the store. Hey, why aren't you coming anymore? Well, something happened with my small group. Or yeah, something I didn't agree with. Or yeah, somebody made me upset and I didn't want to come. I'm like, what? Again, we're practicing what our culture is teaching us. You don't fit my need right now, just go. You don't fit my need right now, I'm just going to go over here. We don't need to come in contact. We're good. I don't need you. That's not the way the family of God works. It calls us for unity. It calls us to love each other. And through that, we're mirrors to this world, showing them the love of God and showing others who he is. Or committing to this group because it's a part of the family of God that he has given you. You're not here for an accident. You have your family, yes, that's very important, and we're all about that. But we also know you can't do this alone. You can't walk with Jesus by yourself. We weren't called to that. It's not about that. We're called to do it together. So he blesses you at different sections of your life with family members, God's family members. And this is your family right now. So you can't just pick and choose when you come and when you go. Invest. Lean in. What if this year you leaned in and said, man, how am I going to get involved? How am I going to give back to this family? How can my gifts be used in this family? And stop just being an attender. Stop just sitting there. But get up. Let's get involved. Let's do something. Let's get in a small group. Let's go to the river. What an easy way, man. Easy way to look at a friend. Hey, man, I know you've never gone to the river. I'd love to spend some time with you and show you this family of God. Come with me for free. Or how about you've been pursuing somebody or praying for somebody, and I hope you have, that don't know Jesus, and you know that the gospel is going to be presented there. You're like, hey, you want to get away for a weekend? On me. That's fine. For free. I love to say that. Right? It's low-hanging fruit, man. And why do we do this? Because we believe in this family. We believe in this team. I'm gonna make it easy to have those bridges to get there, to go there. Arnold, I've tried this. Arnold, you don't know my story. Arnold, it's so hard. I'll just fail. If I commit to this, if I make this resolution, I'm going to love the way Jesus does. And whatever that looks like in your context for each and every one of you is going to be different. But you're like, man, this is so difficult. What if I fail? What if I don't make it? That's okay. I want to let you know that you're in good company. Peter, right after Jesus presents this truth, remember? He tells him, oh yeah, I'm in. I'm down with that resolution. I'm all about that. So much so that I'm with you to the end. I will die for you, Jesus. Oh, Peter. Sorry, man. Sorry to say. The pressure's going to get so tough. People are going to be looking at you so judgmental that you're going to give in. You're going to give in and you're going to deny me. But guess what, man? I still love you. I still love you. And that comes full circle later on when Jesus comes back from the dead. But still, like, it's a beautiful thing. God is still there with us. He's just saying, get on up. Keep going. When you fail, that's all right. Get up. Keep going. I want to leave you with this. If you jump a couple chapters to chapter 15, I want to read you this because I hope that you lean into this and this encourages you moving forward with all this. As the band comes up, I'm going to read this to you. Listen to this. Chapter 15, verse 9. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love. That's how you do it. Just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I had loved you. There it is again. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. That's the kind of love he's talking about. May this year catapult us, this message catapult us into this idea that by this, people will know. We gave all the staff a gift this year for Christmas. Kind of this is what we want the saying to be for the gathering for this year. Harrison is wearing one right here. Come on up, Harrison. Let's be a model. Like, you need to walk. You know what I'm saying? There you go. But this is our sweater right here that we made for them. Turn around. And it says the gathering in the back. These screw necks. So thank you. Man, good modeling. That's beautiful. But we're going to be putting this saying on different things. We're working on shirts for you. We're working on hats for you. We're working on just different things that we want to get to you in your hands and say the gathering. And just, start being proud of our family. And so, but this saying, man, I've found myself already wearing that sweater and walking around the mall and whatever, and people looking at me. By what? by what? By what will people know what? Raises major questions, two major questions. By this what? This life. By this life. People will know what? That I'm about Jesus. That I'm about him and his love. And you can have it too. My prayer for you this year, man, may be that you answer those questions, that you wear those things proudly, or you believe that saying proudly, that by this, Lord, my life, people will know you. People will come to know you. People will get saved. People will know love and joy. People will walk away from fear for the first time in their life. People will have a chance for the first time in their life by this. By this. That's my prayer for this family. That's my prayer for this year. That by this, people will know that we are his disciples because we love one another the way Jesus loved. Jesus, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for this truth and for this message. I ask that you may go beyond us in 2017. We will set goals. We will set resolutions. And God, some of us may fail this afternoon. But Lord, you're a God of second chances and third chances and fourth chances and fifth chances. And you ask us, okay, get on up. Get on up. Acknowledge it, but get on up. So I pray that you may go before us in 2017. May we be such a light to our communities, to our homes, to our friends, to our schools, to our jobs, wherever we go, that we may be screaming out by this life, by this group, by this team, by this family. Many will come to know you, because that's our desire, Jesus. That maybe many would come to know you, that your name may be known all around our community. May that be the truth. May that be the story that we tell at the end of this year. In Jesus' name, amen.